Hey guys, what's up? It's Will back once again. We're back for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down the last event of 2016, UFC 207 from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Ronda Rousey makes her return as she looks to get her belt back as she faces the champion, very good champion, and Amanda Nunes in the main event of this card, with Dominick Cruz against Cody Garbrandt in the co-main event. Werdum, Cain, Dillashaw, Lineker, Smolka, Borg, and just great fights throughout the card. First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to absolutely everybody who has helped me throughout this year on my YouTube channel. It's grown so much. I've nearly hit 100,000 views for the year, which is something I never even thought I'd get 100,000 views totaling for my video, so this is huge for me. Subscribers, I've had so many new subscribers this year, like over 400. Just incredible support which I get from you guys week in, week out. You always give me some nice words, some real nice encouragement to really keep going with this, and just I love speaking to you guys, so thank you so much for taking the time out to just listen to myself just ramble on about fights, just like yourself. Love talking about fights with fellow fans, and it is one of the most favourite things I do in the world. It's so simple to do, but I get across so many channels speaking to you guys. I really do thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And let's move on to 2017 and let's get me to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 653 right now, so please, if you can, please subscribe to my channel, and let's just get more people there and coerce with more people on here, talk about fights, because that's what we're here to do. Break down fights, talk about fights, who you think will win, who I think will win, difference of opinion, what you see from what I don't see. So always come and subscribe to me, and please check out my brothers below that make these prediction videos as well. They deserve your support. Rockstar Z, MMA Kelton, MMA Profit, Half the Battle. There is podcasts like Severe MMA Podcast, Part and Shot Podcast. James Lynch he hit 1,000 subscribers this week, which is long overdue because he makes some great interview videos upon his YouTube channel, so please go and support them guys. Brandon Kaplan, there is so many guys on here I could mention, but just go support if you can, and yeah, let's just all kind of get together and make this a little bit bigger and see what differences we have and see if we can find out ways to get winners. And shout out to the UFC betting shots, it's been fantastic to be a part of that group in 2016 as well. So let's get into this card, because I say I'm going on a little bit, a couple of minutes in. A really fun card, 11 fights. Jessica Andrade fell off the card but a few hours ago, which sucks a little bit. I think she should go on to face Johny and Jacek now, but she maybe wants another fight from what I'm hearing. But we're going to get started. 5 of the first 6 fights in this card are in the welterweight division, so we're going to start with Brandon Thatch against the newcomer Niko Price. I'm picking Brandon Thatch here. I think this is a complete step down from the opponents that Brandon Thatch has faced in his last 3 or 4 fights, which he's lost his last 3 fights, and he's lost all 3 fights via submission as well. We know what Brandon Thatch is all about. Really long guy, really good power, but he can be beat. If you get in the head of this guy and just get past that early stage of the fight and really just put your dominance on him, you can beat him here. Losses to Benson Henderson. I can't believe he was supposed to face Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy would have absolutely pieced him up in that main event. Benson came up from 155, beat him. Gunnar Nelson, which was one of my favourite fights at UFC 189, just that 1-2 into the choke. And then Sayar Bahuruzada back at UFC 196 put a beating on him and caught him with a beautiful arm triangle choke. Niko Price fighting out of the American top team. I think it's Cape Coral down there in Florida, so just at the kind of off-site of the American top team, I believe it is. 9-0 record. Seems fairly decent in all honesty. A nice addition to the 170-pound division, but I just don't think he's fought anybody near Brandon Thatch's capabilities, and I expect Brandon Thatch to get this done. Whether he gets a finish is another thing. I think if he gets off to a really quick start and uses that range and uses that power, I think he needs to use leg kicks. He just needs to vary it up a little bit, throw some of those techniques he was doing before he started facing the elite fighters in the division. So yeah, I just think that Thatch has just got a little bit more kind of capabilities about him. I think he's just a little bit of a better fighter, and this is a big fight. He's a little bit surprised. You don't usually stay in the UFC with 3 losses in a row. With 4 losses in a row, you're out the door. So he's got himself an opportunity here against a guy that nobody really knows. and I expect him to kind of really come in and win this fight here. But with Brandon Thatch, you just never really know. If you put the pressure on this guy, you can make him fold. Niko Price can maybe do that. I just think that Brandon Thatch, this is a gimme fight. Well, not really a gimme fight, but I think it's a fight he really should win, and he should take it fairly convincingly. So I'm going to go Brandon Thatch via TKO in round number 2. And the main fight of the UFC Fight Pass headliner, we have Tim Means against Alex Oliveira. This is a fantastic fight, and it's also a fight I've been going back and forward on because I am a big Tim Means fan. I know there is others too. My boy Rockstar Z is a massive fan of Tim Means, and how can you not be a fan of this guy? I mean, he's the dirty bird. I mean, he's just grimy. He's in there and he's just really, really tough, and he's very dangerous in all facets of his game. And came back, looked a little rusty against Sabaho Masi at UFC 202, but got a finish in the second round. Once he kind of got into his groove, he really put a beating on Sabaho Masi, and got that win in the second round there via TKO. Alex Oliveira is a guy that I've been a little bit back and forth with. I'm a fan, then I'm not sure of some of his antics, kind of going up and down in weight divisions. I like him at welterweight. I think he should stay there. He's a big, long guy. He's got the longer reach over Tim Means here. I think Tim is a little bit better on the feet, but I think that Alex Oliveira is a little bit better in the clinch. I think this is where he has to take this fight, get dirty in the clinch, and really take it to Tim Means there. But see, Means can be nasty in there as well. I think he has to put Means back against the fence and just try and work on him there, and maybe potentially go for takedowns. He's very, very... I think his takedowns are very underrated, Alex Oliveira, and he showed that against Will Brooks last time. Predominantly just took him down and put a beating on Will Brooks, and got the finish in that one there as well. Love Tim Means, love Alex Oliveira sometimes, but I've been going back and forth in this one, but I think I've came to a decision. I'm going to go with Alex Oliveira. I just think he's going to make first of all, I think it's going to be very close. I think on the feet, that Means has the advantage. I think once it goes into the clinch and maybe on the ground, I think that Oliveira has the slight advantage. Could be wrong in that one there. It might be fairly matched down there, but I just think that Oliveira can make it dirty and just do enough to win rounds. And maybe I can see him getting takedowns in this fight. If Tim Means doesn't get off, get some of those shots off fairly early, I think that Oliveira could definitely come more into the fight and win those rounds. I feel kind of rotten picking against Tim Means because I love watching the guy fight. He's so mean. Tim Means is very, very mean, and he's mean, nasty, and he just wants to get in your face and really hurt you and cut you up. But I'm going to go Alex Oliveira. I'm going to go via a very close 29-28 split decision. Moving on to the Fox Sports 1 card, we have Antonio Carlos Jr. against Marvin Vettori, and I'm going to pick Marvin Vettori in this one. I'm not sold on Antonio Carlos Jr. I was when he was in a tough show and he was moving through the divisions, lost to Pat Cummins, but I think we've seen his limitations. If he's very, very good in the ground, if he gets you down there, he has a very good chance of submitting you. But if you can survive with this guy, you can break him, and we've seen that. I mean, last time out he faced Leleco, and to be honest with you, Leleco survived a lot longer than I thought that he should have been given, because I think that Carlos Jr. down there is very dangerous, and he spent predominantly his fight on his back there, and couldn't find a choke. Eventually did find the rear naked choke, but my thoughts on Carlos Jr. have kind of digressed a little bit. I think that the TKO loss to Dan Kelly, Dan Kelly is one of those guys that you now I always pick against Dan Kelly, and I've been made to eat crow so many times because the guy is so hard to finish. He's got that old man power, old man strength, and he showed it in that fight and weathered the storm against Carlos Jr. and then put a beating on and put him out there. Kevin Casey, that was an eye poke, that was horrible. Eddie Gordon was a pretty decent win, then there was the Pat Cummins loss. Marvin Vettori made his UFC debut at UFC 202 against Alberto Uda and looked fantastic and got the finish in there. Uda is nothing spectacular, like I've said in my breakdowns before. I don't think he's overly good fighter, and he is out the UFC now, which I think is the right decision. He should never have been there. but he came in there, a young guy from Italy, probably. I thought he was going to come in at 170 pounds. He's went up to 185 and looks decent. And I think it's a matchup he can boss this matchup on the feet. I think that Carlos Jr. will throw kicks, but I think that he can catch on those kicks and potentially take him down. And in his guard, I think as long as he's careful, he can get off shots, elbows, and move around and really put a beating on Carlos Jr. I'm just not sold on him in this fight. I think Vettori is the younger, strong. I think even though Carlos Jr. is a specimen, he's a big guy. I think that Vettori can muscle him around a little bit, possibly put him against the cage and dirty box with him a little bit, and then take him down and then come. But he has to be careful when he goes to the ground with Carlos Jr. because he can throw submissions on you very quickly. But I like Marvin Vettori in this one. I think he's actually one of my more confident picks in the whole card. I haven't seen any betting lines for this one, but if the lines are fairly close, I'm going to definitely bet Marvin Vettori. I might even throw in my parlay somewhere, because parlays have been saving me recently. Even though I didn't have a great bet for the last card, I did have Paul Craig, which was a nice win. But I think I might use him in this one as Marvin Vettori. I'm going to go. I think once he wears Carlos Jr. out, I think that Vettori is going to keep coming. I'm going to go an early third round TKO for Marvin Vettori there. Mike Pyle against Alex Garcia is up next, and I'm going to go with Alex Garcia here. Not potentially really confident in him. I just think that Mike Pyle is pretty much done, but I did think that in the fight with Sean Spencer, and yet again he proved me wrong. But last time, I mean, he's lost, I think it's 4 of his last 5. Fighting in Vegas always seems to help this guy, as it should do, considering his home's not that far away. Lost to Alberto Mina with a kind of flying knee, and he got followed up with punches in the second round of back in the summer there. But the way I like Alex Garcia here, I think he can put him against the cage. I think that's another thing he has to do, and just look for takedowns and kind of work from the guard and be really active down there. I know he gasses a little bit as the fight goes on, but I just think that he needs to get dirty with Mike Pyle. Be careful, because he is very savvy in the ground, as Mike Pyle. But I just think that something's pushing me towards him here. I do believe that Pyle is just on his way out a little bit, and I think that his shot resistance from punches is going. His punch resistance, I should say, that was the word I was trying to say. His punch resistance is going. I just think he's there for the taking for Alex Garcia. He needs to manhandle him around here and just really put his weight on him and make Mike Pyle work. And he could get a finish. I don't see it. I see Garcia winning a couple of rounds. He's coming off a pretty devastating loss himself. He got the head knocked off him by Sean Strickland, where he was just that jab. He was throwing the jab out and just really, it was like a rapier back and forth. He's hitting him, and then he got stopped. And that was one of the biggest wins of Sean Strickland's young career, stopping Garcia, because Garcia is a very tough guy with a great camp behind him. So I'm going to go via decision. I'm going to go Alex Garcia to win this fight here and move on. And it might be the last we see of Mike Pyle, who knows. Dong Hyun Kim against Tarec Saffiedine. Really fun fight. A kind of wild fighter in Dong Hyun Kim. You don't know what you're going to get against someone very technical, very crisp. Just a really nice striker to watch. Really nice footwork. If you watch him, just watch his footwork. He puts his feet in the right place to deliver really nice leg kicks, to pivot off, to use his right hand. And then sometimes he does the double pivot where he comes in and he can throw a left followed by a right body kick, a leg kick, sorry. And it's just something really nice to see. I noticed that in a couple of these fights. Coming off that loss is Tarec to Rick Story. Story is always one of those guys who's very tough to face. Dong Hyun Kim's coming over a win over Dom Waters. He has been out more than a year. That's a little bit of concern, because I've been kind of back and forth with fading fighters coming off a year-long layoff. Did it at the start of the year, pretty much the start of the year with Dominick Cruz, and he's shown that he's been great throughout the year. So I'm a little bit kind of torn in this one, because I think that Dong Hyun Kim's kind of variety of strikes, his arsenal, he's got the definitive grappling credentials here over Tarec Saffiedine. Even though Saffiedine finished Saffiedine trained a lot at Team Quest with some of the guys back in the day, Dan Henderson's gym as well. I just think that Dong Hyun Kim's got that judo there, he can use that if needs be. I'm going to go Dong Hyun Kim. I think Tarec Saffiedine is really, really tough to finish, but I'm going to go a decision here. It's one thing I've always noticed as well with the Fox Sports 1 card, we see an awful lot of decisions, and that's something I'm going to start looking at for bets, maybe decisions for the 4 fights that are on there, because I think a few times in the year that's going to really pay off, so I'll have a look at that in the new year. Dong Hyun Kim via decision. And staying in the welterweight division, the main fight of the Fox Sports 1 card, we have Johny Hendricks against Neil Magny. Another fighter I think is potentially done there is Johny Hendricks. I think he's looked terrible in his last couple of performances, and I know that they've been to really good elite fighters. I believe that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is an elite fighter. Kelvin Gastelum has the potential to be an elite mixed martial artist, and I think he still will realise that, because we're seeing snippets of it there. He needs to start proving his worth. Does Kelvin Gastelum? We've seen that against Tim Kennedy. I know he had a kind of really decent opponent there, a guy coming off a long layoff, and he just outworked him, and his striking looked phenomenal. But Johny Hendricks has just looked terrible in his last couple of fights, and he looks a shell of his former self. And against someone like Neil Magny, who is a really big guy, the guy has 11-inch reach advantage over him here. I think what he has to do is keep him at the end of that jab, avoid those big shots of Johny. If he gets his back against the cage, he needs to hurry his ass off there and get back to the centre octagon. The black line that surrounds there, as soon as he goes over that line, he needs to get himself away from there and get into a position where his back's not against the cage, because Johny will shoot for that big double leg. And I think that Neil Magny can beat this guy, really. I think he's got the better gas tank. Just underrated. Neil Magny's forever been underrated, and he shouldn't be. I know he's coming off a loss to Lawrence Larkin, who Larkin was after something in that fight. Last fight in his contract, came out there and put an absolute beat down on Neil Magny with leg kicks. I like Neil Magny in this one. It's hard to say that Johny Hendricks is done, because I still think he's got the capabilities to be a big fighter in there, but his weight's one thing I worry about. It wouldn't surprise me if he misses weight for this one. I like Neil Magny to outwork Johny Hendricks over 3 rounds, and I think that Johnny's time in the UFC is slowly coming to an end, or quickly coming to an end. I'm going to go Neil Magny via very dominant 30-27 there, and we'll see where Johny Hendricks go from there. He might retire, who knows, he might move up to 185, he'll be a very small 185er, but I like Neil Magny in this one. I'm going to go via decision. On to the main card, we're starting in the flyweight division with a very fun looking fight. Lewis, the Last Samurai Smolka against Ray Borg. Both guys coming off pretty tough losses. Lewis Smolka, nobody was picking Lewis Smolka to really lose against Brandon Moreno. And Moreno came out with a beautiful guillotine there. And that's a little bit surprised, because Smolka is very good in the ground. And his groundwork is very precise. He works very hard down there. You can see that he puts a lot of time in the mats. He just got caught, and that happens with some fighters. And he needs to watch out, because Ray Borg could catch him with something similar down there. Ray Borg is a whiz on the ground, transitions very well. If he gets your back, you're locked up, you're not getting out there, and he will look for the submissions. He's coming off that loss to Justin Scoggins, who predominantly kind of beat him up on the feet, but he did take him down as well. So that's something that I think Smolka can use. I think Smolka on the feet, he needs to control the fight on the feet first. If he can do that, I think that will give him the confidence to want to take this fight to the ground and potentially look for the finish down there. I think Ray Borg is very tough to finish in on the ground specifically. I just think that both these guys are going to be great fighters. They're going to be around for a long time. Wouldn't surprise me if they're both in title contention in the next 24 months. Whether that means anything against Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, who knows, he might move up. But I can see one, if not both these guys being a champion in the future. I really can. So the way I'm looking at this is, I think that Lewis Smolka has to be very confident feet. He's got something to prove coming off that loss. That was a big loss against Brandon Moreno. That really slowed him down. So he has to pick up that momentum again and try and get just the confidence back and get the wheels back in motion to make a run up that division. Tough fight, because Borg is very tough, and I would love to see this go to the ground. I think Smolka is a little bit better than him. He's a little bit more technical with his grappling. Borg is very good himself, but I just think Smolka, overall, this is the better fighter right now. A couple of years that could be completely different with Ray Borg, but I'm going to pick Lewis Smolka. I'm going to pick via another decision. Who are we on to? Bantamweight division. TJ Dillashaw faces off against John Lineker. Now, this is the fight that I've seen a lot of people on social media going back and forward on. A lot of people very confident in John Lineker. I'm not one of those people, but if you watch my videos with John Lineker, I seem to always pick against him, or not pick against him, but I always seem to... I can't really call his fights too well, to be honest with you. But I think this is the toughest fight of his career, against a guy who is really wanting to get that title shot against Dominick Cruz, or whoever the champion may be after this. And TJ Dillashaw, I think he's got a clear path to victory here. Thing is John Lineker going to let this guy fight his fight? TJ Dillashaw's going to want to hit and move. It's fairly obvious. Use that bang Muay Thai that he's got, and potentially mix in takedowns. I know Lineker is very, very tough to take down, but I think that the thing is with John Lineker, like we said, you want to get your game plan off. John Dodson tried to do it, but he will march you down and make his fight, put his fight across how he wants to fight this one. And he will make it his fight where he'll throw big bombs, put you against the cage, and just look to knock your chin straight off. And that's something, it's really, really fun to watch. His fight with John Dodson back in Portland in October was a really fun fight. I picked Dodson. I thought it was fairly close, but I do think that Lineker won that one. I see a clear path to victory here for TJ Dillashaw, and I'm very, very confident. And a lot of people are very confident in John Lineker, so either I'm really off or they see something that I just don't see with John Lineker. But I just think that Dillashaw's going to be too fast. I think he's going to throw a lot of variety, keep his back off the cage. Don't let Lineker get those pounding shots off, because if he does, you are going to be in real, real trouble. And try and mix in takedowns if you can with Lineker. I know he's tough to take down, but I just think I think Dillashaw's just a little bit better, and as you can probably see, as by watching this and maybe hearing my voice, I'm a little bit unsure, because Lineker, it's just hard to pick against this guy, and he's on a 6-fight win streak himself. So I'm going to pick TJ Dillashaw. I can see maybe Lineker getting around, but I like a decision victory. Another one there for TJ Dillashaw. Heavyweight division, a rematch. Fabricio Werdum versus Cain Velasquez, and this fight I've been going back and forward on this week. If you're following me on social media, you'll see, has anybody got a good read in this fight? Because I really don't have a good read in this fight. I went back and watched my prediction video for the first fight between those guys, and I was so confident in Fabricio Werdum, it wasn't even funny. Now, I think I'm very, very confident in Cain Velasquez, and I've no idea why I feel that, because Cain Velasquez has come out and said that he's going to get surgery after this fight, and that should be a big red flag. But there is some things here that are going on his side. I believe Fabricio Werdum, I think when this guy is 100% focused on the job in hand, like he was in that first fight, especially against Mark Hunt and then against Cain Velasquez, he's very tough to fight. But then you started to see with the Stipe Miocic fight, Stipe was in the cage, he was making his way to the cage himself, and he was just taking it all in, and he was very jovial and like high-fiving the fans, which is fine, but he seemed to do it a little bit too much. I think his head, mentally went a little bit. And then in the fight with Travis Brown, and of course in that Stipe fight he got knocked out, got too aggressive and came forward and just really put it on, tried to put it on Stipe, and Stipe just blasted him with a right hand and down he went. And then in the Travis Brown fight, I mean, the guy, I thought he could have finished that fight. I thought if he put more pressure on Travis Brown, he would have finished that fight. He came out with a huge flying kick in the first few seconds and put Travis Brown down. And then there was the whole altercation with Edmund Tarverdyan at the end and kicking out. And I think that mentally this guy has gone a little bit, and that's what's pushing me towards Cain Velasquez. Also adding the fact that Cain Velasquez, he messed up in that first fight, no doubt about it. He went to Mexico far too late. He expected his cardio was going to be great, and his cardio was shocking, and he went out very, very quickly. and Werdum caught him there, and I was so confident in that when I bet Fabricio Werdum big in that fight. But what Fabricio Werdum is going to show up here, is he going to show up and be like he was in the first fight, where there was a lot of shots back and forward, and I knew as soon as Cain started shooting that he was going to catch a limb and he was going to put him to sleep, and he did that. I think that Cain Velasquez is going to be smart this time and look to put Werdum against the cage and just beat upon Fabricio Werdum. I think that he's just mentally a little bit gone as Fabricio Werdum, and that kind of leads me to pick Cain Velasquez, but by all means I am not confident. Feel I should be betting Werdum in this one because he could take that fight out at any potential moment. If Cain decides to shoot or he leaves something in there, Werdum will jump in it and really put him down. I'm going to pick Cain Velasquez. I'm going to pick him via TKO, and I think that Verdum's going to come at him, and I think that Velasquez is going to catch him with a nice crisp combination and put him down. I think that Cain's just going to really put a beating on him and take him out in this first round here. See, I'm not confident, but I think if he wins this fight, he's going to win via TKO. So I'm going to go a first round TKO for Cain Velasquez, and we'll see what's going to happen in 2017, because it looks like he's getting surgery. Who knows who Stipe will face next. So yeah, Cain Velasquez via TKO, round number 1 for myself there. Co-main event, Dominick Cruz faces off against Cody No Love Garbrandt. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm a staunch Cody Garbrandt fan, and a little bit surprised he's got here quick to this title shot, but he's come in this year. He's had a great 2016 with knocking out his opponents in Mendes, Almeida, Mizugaki, and he's got himself a title shot here. And I think, and I've been saying this for the longest time, I think he's a champion in waiting in that division. I really do. I think he's got elite quickness for that division. I think he is the quickest fighter in there with the hand speed, with his movement. Cruz is the king of movement, though. Let's not say that Garbrandt is anywhere near the type of movement that Cruz is, because Cruz is elite in that facet there. But I just think the time is right for Cody Garbrandt to win the belt here. I think that he has got the hand speed, he's got the power that goes along with it to really put a. If this is all saying, what I think he has to do now. I had a conversation, Justin Buchholz, a good 20 to 25 minute conversation regarding this fight, and he told me some things that they are working on and what they've tried to work on in the past, but the fighters have deviated away from this. So Faber and Dillashaw was leg kicks, and that's a big thing I think that Garbrandt has to use here. He needs to use heavy feints and throw some big leg kicks, and then come up top with that left right that he always seems to throw. His combinations don't vary an awful lot, but he has the power and the hand speed. If he hits you once, I think every opponent he's faced has been down on the mat. So that's what I think he has to do. He has to use feints and use leg kicks a lot. He can't come in and be basic against Dominick Cruz, because Dominick Cruz, if he does that and he gets overly aggressive and comes forward, Dominick Cruz is going to pivot and move, and he's going to take Garbrandt down. Now, Garbrandt has really underestimated wrestling, really good wrestling. We haven't seen it, but he does have it there, so he might stuff the takedowns. But if he's coming in overly aggressive, Cruz is going to pick him apart with takedowns. Whether he keeps Garbrandt there is another thing altogether. But Cody can he be stupid? He can't be stupid in this fight. He needs to fight a really smart game plan, and eventually I think he will find the chin of Dominick Cruz. Now, this might be the uber fan in me of Cody Garbrandt speaking, but I believe I picked against Cody Garbrandt. I picked Thomas Almeida against him, and he proved me wrong, and he blasted Thomas Almeida out in that fight and made it look fairly easily as well. Put Almeida against the cage and just unheralded a short right hand that put him down. Dominick Cruz, I think if he wins this fight, I think he's got every right of being the 2016 fighter of the year. I think Michael Bisping takes that pretty much right now. Stipe's close by as well. Dominick Cruz, he came back and he beat TJ Dillashaw on his return. Close fight. I do think he won that fight. Then he outpointed Faber very easily. Faber was on the decline then. But he's got this young upstart coming through his division who is I think he's extremely good with his hands, and his wrestling's, we've not seen it, but it is good. I feel that Cody's going to catch him at some point, and with the power and the quickness that he has, he's going to jump all over him and get a finish here. But I mean, Dominick Cruz is one. I've never been the biggest fan of Cruz. In all honesty, I don't know whether he's beating the guys that I like Faber and stuff like that. But you know what? See that now he's come back after all that adversity, all the injuries the guy had. I mean, coming back, blasting Mizugaki out there, and then getting injured again and coming back and getting that belt back is huge for that guy. I mean, this guy will go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time. I do believe, with the stuff that he's had to put up with. The guy's one of the best commentators. I love him in the box. I love him in the when he's calling fights. I love him when he's breaking and analysing fights. He's just one of the best guys in the sport, without a doubt. I just think that Cody Garbrandt, it's his time, and I could be completely wrong. It might be the fans speaking me here. Big respect to Dominick Cruz. I just think that Garbrandt is going to catch him, but he needs to vary his attacks. If he comes in basic, Dominick Cruz is going to tool this guy with ease. So I'm going to go Cody Garbrandt. I don't think he's going to win a decision, no unless he completely dominates rounds where he catches Dominic. Don't see it happening. I'm going to go a 4th round TKO victory or knockout victory for Cody No Love Garbrandt to become the new champion. But I say that could be the fan talking to me, so don't take it. Well, it is the fan talking to me, but I do see legit reasons why he can win this fight. That's why I'm saying I think he can win this fight. I'm not going to give you a willy-nilly fight pick just based on being a fan, and because if that's the case, I did it with Pets. I'm a big fan, but I saw the clear way for Holloway to win. I can see a vision. I can see a way for Garbrandt to win this fight. I could be completely wrong and be miles off here, because Cruz is elite and he's got a fight IQ to kind of match that as well. But my pick's going to be Cody Garbrandt via TKO in round number 4. And moving on to the main event of the night, the return of Ronda Rousey. But in this, let's not lose that Amanda Nunes is the champ and the deserving champ. And people are going, I can't believe, there was a video that UFC released last week. Now, I know she's going to sell the pay-per-views. It's her return. Ronda Rousey is a huge star in the sport. But she hasn't got the belt. Amanda Nunes has, and she's not getting the rub of the green with this at all. I think that the UFC could, your first female champion coming out of Brazil is something with her background of her gender, her sexual orientation, I should say, and being the first lesbian champion, homophobic champion in the UFC. Homophobic, what kind of word am I saying there? So homosexual, oh shit, whatever. I'm baffling now. The first gay fighter to win a UFC belt, that's what I'm trying to say. They could really push this gal into the kind of mainstream a little bit there. So how do I see the fight going? Well, I've already put a bet down on Amanda Nunes. I've got her at plus 200. I put a unit on her there. I might add another one depending on what prize I can get. Ronda Rousey, mentally, I don't think this woman's all there, and it's really tough to kind of go against Ronda Rousey. I think she's been fantastic to watch, but I think that mentally she was broken in that fight with Holly Holm, and I still think the fractures are still there. And I really think that Amanda Nunes is a tough girl. Ever since that loss to Kat Zingano, she has been on a destruction, and she did that. She destroyed Miesha Tate. Miesha Tate, there was something up with her that week, but take nothing away from Amanda Nunes. She went in, she said she's going to do this. She's wanted to fight Ronda Rousey. Destroyed Tate. Now she moves on to Ronda Rousey. And I just think wherever this fight goes, Amanda Nunes is going to be able to put it on her. Now, if Ronda can get her back in against the cage, then I think that she could cause a lot of problems for Nunes, because I think she will go for... We'll know what she's like. She's very, very kind of animalistic with her jiu-jitsu, and she'll jump on things very quickly, and she's very strong. She's hard to really get off you as well. But her striking... If there's some videos that's come out and her striking, she's kind of moving and she's throwing, and it's like it's just like floppy arms. There's nothing there. So hopefully she's maybe thrown us off a little bit with that, because personally she has to get as far away from Edmund Tarverdyan as possible. I think everybody knows that. But I'm going to pick Amanda Nunes, and I think she could do it in the first 2 rounds easily. I think she's going to hit Ronda with a big shot, and she's just going to put her down and put her to sleep and defend the title, which is weird because that title's been moving from home. It went Rousey to home to Tate, now on to Amanda Nunes. I think Nunes could defend it a few times, I'll be honest with you there. So my pick's going to be Amanda Nunes. I'm going to go a second round TKO victory there. And that is it for 2016, my video predictions. A great year for me. Thank you so much. I'm going to have one more video for this year. I think I'm going to film it right now. I'm going to film my top 5 fights of 2016. This is a really hard category. Top 5 knockouts of 2016 and top 5 subs of 2016, and my fighter of the year, which I'll probably give away during this. But yeah, I'm going to make that right now. A nice 15-minute video, getting that out there. And so yeah, but thank you so much for everything for 2016. I will be back early 2017 for Yair Rodriguez against BJ Penn from Phoenix, and then we've got a run out straight through with great pay-per-views and a great Fox card as well. So thank you so much. Follow me on Twitter, WillMartin7MMA. You can check my bets at Cappertek. You can play me on DraftKings at Bilber85. And please go and follow and support all the good guys down below there. And thank you so much. Happy holidays when they come round, and I will see you in 2017.